Let's talk about workplace safety. But forget the boring posters and rule books for a minute. We're going to dig into the really smart, strategic thinking that actually keeps people safe on the job.
So let's just jump right in with a question. When you hear workplace safety, what pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's, long meetings and those dusty binders of rules sitting on a shelf. But what if I told you there's a fascinating, almost scientific framework hiding underneath it all? Well, let's find out.
To really get a handle on this, we've got to start with the fundamental why. I mean, why do we even bother managing health and safety? Turns out, it all boils down to 3 core reasons. And here they are. First up, you've got the moral reason. It's the simple human idea that we should look out for each other. People shouldn't have to risk getting hurt just to earn a living. Then, of course, there's the legal reason. Laws and regulations pretty much demand that employers provide a safe workplace. And finally, the financial reason. Because believe me, accidents and poor health cost businesses an absolutely staggering amount of money. Now, this financial part is where things get really interesting. Think of it like an iceberg. The direct costs, the obvious stuff like medical bills and broken equipment, that's just the tip you can see. The real, massive danger is what's hidden below the water. These are the indirect costs. A damaged reputation, lost productivity, the time and money to hire and train new people. This is the stuff that can really, truly sink a business.
All right, so if we want to start seeing our workplaces like a safety pro does, we first need to learn the language. And it all starts with 2 incredibly important words that people mix up all the time: hazard and risk.
So, here's the key difference, and it's a big one. A hazard is the thing, the object, the substance, the situation that could hurt you. Think of it as a sleeping lion. It has the potential for harm. Risk, on the other hand, is the chance that the lion wakes up and bites you, plus how bad that bite would be. It's all about likelihood and severity.
And this makes it crystal clear, right? The knife itself is the hazard. The risk is actually getting cut. The wet floor is the hazard. The risk is slipping and breaking an arm. See the pattern? The hazard is the condition. The risk is the potential outcome.
Okay, so we can spot a risk. Awesome. But now what? I mean, a leaky pipe is a risk, but so is an unstable chemical stack. How do we know which ones to worry about first? We need a way to measure them, to turn that vague feeling of danger into a real plan.
And we do that with this ridiculously simple but incredibly powerful formula. Risk equals likelihood times severity. That's it. Likelihood is just how likely is it that something bad will happen. Severity is, well, how bad would it be if it did happen? A little scratch or much, much worse. You multiply those 2 things together and you get a risk score.
Now, let's look at the tool that brings this formula to life, the risk matrix. It's basically a map for your workplace dangers. You plot the likelihood of something happening along one axis and the severity of the potential harm up the other. And where those 2 lines meet, that gives you your score. It's usually color-coded, so you can see right away if you're in the nice, safe green zone or getting into the yellow, orange, and the one you really need to worry about, that bright red, high-risk zone. Okay, let's try a quick one together. Picture an open file cabinet drawer in an office. The likelihood of someone actually tripping on it? It's probably pretty low, right? Maybe a 1 or a 2. But the severity if they do trip, they could fall, hit their head, break a bone. That could easily be a 4 or a 5. So where does that put you on the matrix? Probably somewhere in that yellow or orange medium risk area. Suddenly, it's not such a minor issue anymore, is it?
So, we've found our risks, we've measured them. Now what in the world do we do about them? This is where maybe the single most important concept in all of practical safety comes into play. It's called the hierarchy of controls, and it's our strategic playbook for making things safer.
Think of this like a pyramid, ranked from the absolute best solution down to the very least effective. Right at the top, the best thing you can possibly do is elimination. Just get rid of the hazard completely. Gone. If you can't do that, you try to substitute it with something safer. Below that, you have engineering controls, like putting a physical guard on a machine. Then come administrative controls, which is changing how people work through things like training or warning signs. And way down at the very bottom, the last line of defense is PPE, or personal protective equipment. And this is so important. I really want this to sink in. We all have a natural tendency to just jump straight to the bottom, to just throw a hard hat or some gloves at a problem. But that's PPE, and it's the least effective control. It doesn't get rid of the danger, it just tries to put a flimsy shield between the person and the danger. The real goal is to always start at the top of that hierarchy and work your way down. PPE is the last resort, not the first move.
Okay, let's make all of this real. We're going to put everything together with a hazard we all understand: fire. How can we apply this new way of thinking about hazards, risks, and controls to something we all know can be incredibly dangerous? To control fire, you first have to understand what makes it tick. Fire needs three things to exist: heat, fuel, and oxygen. Take away any one of those three, and the fire goes out. That's the fire triangle. Now think about our hierarchy. The absolute best way to prevent a fire is to remove one of these elements from the get-go. That's pure elimination. Using a less flammable material, that's substitution. Installing an automatic sprinkler system, that's a perfect example of an engineering control.
But here's the thing, not all fires are created equal because the fuel source can be different. You've got Class A fires for stuff like wood and paper, Class B for flammable liquids like gas, Class C for gases, and Class E for anything involving live electricity. And knowing the difference is critical because using the wrong type of fire extinguisher can make things a whole lot worse.
And hey, if you ever do need to use a fire extinguisher, there's a super simple way to remember how. Just think of the word pass. Pull the pin, aim the nozzle at the base of the flames where the fuel is, squeeze the handle to release the extinguisher, and sweep from side to side. It's a simple administrative control, see, that can literally save lives.
So there you have it. We've gone all the way from the big why of safety down to the practical tools for identifying, measuring, and controlling risk. You now have a mental toolkit to see your own world in a brand new way. So I'll leave you with this question. What's one hazard, just one thing, in your own workplace or even at home that you can help address today? You have the framework now. You can be the one who makes a difference.